Welcome to 2K Sports. We have the NBA coming up. Great to have you with us. Big Anthony and Hall of Famer Doris Burke. This is Kevin Harlan. And joining the headlines, another Hall of Famer, David Aldridge. Let's check out the Eastern Conference standings now that we're in the Newts. They're 7th right now. Not a bad spot, but certainly they'd like to string together a run of wins.
And checking out those teams that hasn't quite figured it out this year. A lot of talent, a lot of heart, but nothing to put them up on that next level.
You know, it's got to be frustrating for them. You can't dwell on past. You've got to think forward, work together, and play for...
Now let's send it down to David Aldridge, standing by from the sidelines. David?
Kevin, thank you. Hayward is a versatile offensive player, but he said, for me, being aggressive is playing downhill. Usually, if I can get things going to the rim first, it opens up every other part of my game. And he still adapts defense, finish, and create for ticks.
He is the total package. And Greg, when it comes to load management, why do we see it now when you play?
Well, for me, the science of sport has evolved, and it's not just the athlete, it's the technique and science that goes into a better athlete. That's management far more acceptable to the masses now, understanding that this is about the long game.
Here are the for Los Angeles. Post tandem, Morris and Zubac. Then there's Baton, Coffee in at the 2, and Fritz. The guard spots are filled by Bongier. Up of the forward spots, it's Hayward and Bridges. Really in at their position. There's pass to Coffee. Zubac, a screen on Rozier. Here's Coffee. First shot, first man. He's out of the blocks fast.
And once he got to the 10, I think he was surprised to find himself that wide open.
I think defensively, that is not the way you want to start. Giving up high percentage looks, that typically end well.
Bridges a screen on Batum, and there's the call on Gordon. That's his first foul.
Yeah, really good defensive play off there. Square up.
A little over a minute gone here in the quarter. Zubac, the screen on Rozier, and it's sent back by Plumlee. Left side, and it's blocked. Batum against Hayward to the paint. Here's Coffee.
Well, Marcus Moore, tremendous size, and he is willing to find his mates when they're open. That's nicely done.
Here's Charlotte now. In the current Hayward, and he lobs it up to the rim. Ball finds Rozier. Oh, turn around.
And hitting the mid-range jumper here early gives the defense just another thing to think about.
They're basically saying, you're going to have to guard us at every point on the floor tonight if you're going to have any chance.
Goes up to the stripe. Jump shot is good that time.
Well, just so good at taking each of the mid-range. Marcus Morris feels comfortable in that area.
Doris, you look at Marcus Morris, a very solid 3 and D type of forward.
That's exactly right, because think about it, Morris, early in his career, there was a reluctance to shoot the range shot. He was more mid-range guy, but credit him for putting in the work. Now Marcus is a deadly three-point shooter, and he brings a size and physicality on the defensive end.
And you want this from Jackson. Unselfish he is, the better the team.
Right side, Ball. And he tries up off the glass.
Good way to start this game. You want to get him rolling as early as possible.
He's a guy, if he gets hot, he can carry your offense for a long stretch.
Quarter of action, just under 3.5 minutes made.
And the impact Bridges made on the defensive end, showing he's not to be messed with. You know, you're going to have success when you can start out shooting 80% from the game. So early offensively, they've been great. That's the way you like to start.
And the Clips decide to take their first time out here. You know, Greg, sometimes it's just hard to quantify defense, but some new age metrics really value Mason Plumlee.
And there's a stat called defensive box plus minus that measures how good your team is with you on the floor. Year in, year out, Mason Plumlee is top 20 in the league, proving his overall effect on a game on the defensive end.
So an almost entirely new now for Charlotte. Richards is checked in. Washington comes in for Miles Bridges. Kelly Oubre's checked in for Gordon Hayward. And Martin subbed in for Rozier. First quarter play and just over 3.5 minutes in. Yep, it counts.
Yeah, quick trigger. And from that range, if he senses the defenders have backed off, get him.
All the pass to Washington. Oh, there's the alley-oop. It's stolen by Ibaka. At the elbow, Batum. Bledsoe for three. Good for the basket. Sing off 1-1 with that shot.
Now this guy's got a really good feel for spacing. Very comfortable shooting that jumper with a hand in his face.
Deep two. And Charlotte.
This guy is tough for any creative and assertive scoring the ball.
Ibaka with the screen on Martin. Out to the wing. And again, it's the Clippers from deep.
They've wasted no time settling their offense.
Here's Ball. 6 points for him. Pass to Richards. Oubre up top. And that one is good.
Yeah, these defenders just look a bit overmatched, especially if...
Pass to Ibaka. Ibaka sets the pit. Bledsoe. And there's the drive. It's blocked. Ball feeling it out. Passes to Richards. Oubre outside. Outside Martin. 5 on the clock. Fires from 14. Charlotte again with the bucket. And oh, here are the Clippers. Moving on after the tough loss they took at the hands of Miami.
Yeah, I mean, Rose tough in body. They were right there, but just missing keys.
You know what? Playing on the road is always challenging. It requires a level of energy and focus. You've got to match what the home team gives you. They didn't do it.
A tremendous mobile one block that we had to see again. Great send back.
And in a close game, blocks like that are so clutch, and that could be a real difference maker here tonight.
And the Clippers making a change here. Kennard's checked in. 20 seconds left to play in the first. Ibaka with the screen on Ball. 4 on the clock. The Clippers need to get off a shot. The fadeaway goes on it.
Well, Serge Ibaka added this aspect to the game. Came in a shot blocker, but worked so hard to become an offensive threat.
The one, both teams putting up some points. Clippers ahead. 2. The second quarter coming up right after this break, so don't go anywhere. An unlucky history of injury, Gordon Hayward, and he understands they take the long-term for deciding when to return.
There's times where it's not our decision to not play. There are certain times where guys want to play, and the coaching staff and the training staff feels like it's in the team's best interest to not play. You know, there's certain injuries you really can't play with.
More sophisticated than it comes to injury prevention.
And training staffs are now expected to anticipate risks. So at times, they'll know before the player that there's a concern.
And so far, we'll see if either of these can jump out in the second quarter. And a chance to catch up on some numbers here. The scoring breakdown for Los Angeles.
And so far, these guys have done finding the opening men and getting some easy goals.
They've also made their mark in the paint. A lot of their scoring coming down so far.
Forward spots, it's Hayward. Martin is there with Terry Rozier. And it's Plumlee in at the 5. So that's the Hornets 5. Fires from the line. And again, the Clippers good for 2.
Well, we know this about Marcus Morris. If you give him an opportunity, regardless if it's inside, outside arc, he's going to take it.
Rozier against Jackson. Martin goes in and finished off by Martin.
A little artistry in the painted area, converting against the size.
Some guys just relish the challenge. Find a way, and he does.
Second quarter of action, about a minute and a half played. Right at the free throw line, and good, and it takes a nice bounce off the right iron and down. We see more and more players stretching the limits of their shooting range. How does that deep ball challenge a defense?
Well, it have to redefine what is best in today's NBA. The range. What it does is it spaces the floor. It's asking big men to guard at 28 to 30 feet. That's a very difficult thing to do for a big man 6 feet 9 and 7 feet. They can break down quickly, you're en route right away. Challenging, it is to guard in today's NBA.
Okay, well, let's check in with David Aldridge reporting from the sideline.
Thank you, Kevin. Well, mid-range jumpers are something of a lost art these days. Still practiced by superstars like Kawhi Leonard. Coach Ty Lue said, why not win the shots that teams are given down the stretch? Mid-range shots win games, playoffs too. If you shoot it at a high clip, it's just free for me. Guys?
And they do shoot it at a good clip, and they rely on it quite a bit. David, thank you.
Well, the D has gotten a little bit lax to the trip.
And it's sent back by Plumlee. And another chance. Screen by Zubats. From past the arc, again, Los Angeles with the triple.
This guy is putting his fingerprints all over the game in this quarter. He has flat out dominated the offensive end.
Plumlee with the screen. Martin with it. A look at his stats. He averages a bit over 8 points a game. Hayward, Kid Bridges. The basket good off the assist from Hayward. Bridges has got it all time for Charlotte.
And they're getting their points almost exclusively from the triple. 4 of their last 5 makes are from beyond the arc.
Who wants a t-shirt? Make some noise! All right, lookers to the court. Come on and get loud for your honeybee.
Now for Charlotte. Richards is checked in. P.J. Washington comes in for Bridges. Is checked in for Gordon Hayward. And Ball subbed in for Martin. Yeah, almost 4 minutes gone here in the second quarter of play. Bledsoe passes to Mann. Ibaka with a screen on Oubre. And down it goes, jamming that one home.
And talk about putting some extra on it. That dunk was way over the top.
Close game or not, he's finished first the space. On our AT&T 5G Slam Cam, you just explosive. Rozier for three. Oh, yes, he did. 5 up and 5 down for him so far.
12 straight points offenders, and the D.
Ball against Bledsoe. Up to the right wing. And again, it's the Clippers from deep.
And guys get into a nice groove, starting to feel it.
This is partly what the game has become, right? A matter of three-point opportunities.
Good creation by Ball off that pick and roll. He can find clever ways to beat the defense.
We've got 1:18 left to play here in the half. The shot from the low post is good. And the Clippers lead by 2.
Really, the defense is helpless to stop a layup right there. Just too much of an advantage of the mismatch.
And he gets it to go. Ball's got 10.
And he's really an offensive player. You have to respect Ball's strong sense for when to take that jumper.
A 3-ball and another 3 for the Clippers.
Well, the defense daring him to shoot, and he makes them pay for their disrespect.
The pass, Washington. Batum with, and pushing it up. Here's the Clippers. And so's one. And it's to be out of bounds. Will retain possession. Charlotte on D. They trail by 3. Up top, Ibaka. Shot clock at 6. Another one falls to the Clippers.
Pick works what not much distance from the D.
It takes incredible effort to stay committed to the hip of the offensive player. You've got to want to work.
And then Washington with the dunk.
You know, I really listen. Instead of putting his down, Rozier keeping his eyes up and finding his open teammate.
So that'll be it for the first half. Fairly even battle underway in this one. Clippers lead by 3. It's time now to go courtside as we send you over to David Aldridge from the sideline. David, take it away.
42.
Here with Ty Lue. Good rhythm for your offense in the first half. What did you like about it?
Moving basketball, taking the right shot, making the right play. We make the extra pass, we're a tough team to beat.
And you were sure tough in the first half, Coach. Thanks. Back to you.
All right, thank you, David. And folks, don't go away after the break. See you right back here for number 3.
Hello and welcome. Let's get into it. The story tonight is a tight matchup for the Clippers after 2 quarters.
Efficiency, I think that's big. That's success. You got to protect the basket, can't make those risky passes to highlight film dunks. So I thought it was a great job.
And getting back to the game at hand, a nod to 2 guys who have really brought it for their respective teams.
Yeah, man, this is what we were hoping for. The 2 alpha dogs are squaring off. And when the team leaders are staring each other down, there's extra pride in line. They're bringing out the best of each other. Down, boy, down.
Thank you for being with us. Now let's send it to Kevin Harlan for the second half tip.
And if you're just joining us, we've played through the half in a game that's fairly even so far. This game, performance by Rozier.
He's done a fantastic job of finding open space to operate within the first few quarters.
One of the things every player is after is efficiency at the offensive end, and boy, this young guy has done just that.
And in that half, we saw a pretty tight battle. We'll soon find out what sort of adjustment were discussed during the half. Our second half of basketball, and done it by Gray. Let's see who's all up and on the start the third. Looking into who they've got. Post tandem for him, Morris and Zubats. And there's Jack, and there's Batum, and it's 2.
Well, you can tell that Mr. Morris, the four-con guy, is ready to shoot as soon as it touches his hands.
Here's Ball. 6 for 6. He's yet to miss from the field.
Coming off a big game, his confidence couldn't be higher. A coach knows.
Well, the best players to me deliver night after night. So as long as he's hot, keep riding it.
Zubats, a Stewart. Zubac, that's good. Zubac has got 6.
And you gotta love the big bucket in the paint. It is sort of a grind it out game.
Here in this third quarter, over a minute play.
When I think of Zubac, I think about solid big man who is still young and developing. It's really a matter of him gaining confidence at this point. You simply must play better defense than that. This guy is too good from distance.
Jackson with the screen. Charity strip shot again, Los Angeles. Goal for Zubac is to be a starter in the league.
You know, this guy has started games in the past. He's also played well off the bench. And listen, he's not going to be a guy who shoots with range, but given everything else you need from a center, he can deliver.
And on our sideline, David Aldridge.
Thank you, Kevin. Paul George has taken some heat in recent years. He says people get so caught up in what other folks think. I'm Paul George. I don't care anybody else. I am who I am. You love it or you don't. Was that? After this play on board, he is exceeding all of his critics.
He is certainly playing at a level. EA, thank you. And on the AT&T 5G Slam Cam, you can see how in move was. Just over 2 minutes gone by here in the second half.
It's really clear to me that Marcus has an unshakable ability to score at will.
Deuce. Zubac with it, guarded by Plumlee. And that one is good from Zubac. And it's an 8-point Clipper lead.
And that's the kind of play you just do not want to give up defensively. You lose the possession and give up a quick 2 at the other.
Hayward. And Plumlee kicks here. Charlotte moving it. Throws it up high. And that one goes out of bounds. Touched by Zubac. A moment now to see how the schedule is looking coming up for the Charlotte Hornets. On Wednesday, they'll be matching up with Al Horford and the Boston Celtics. And then on Friday, they'll take on Kevin Love, Cleveland Cavaliers.
And looking at matchup with the Heat, you know they're going to want to make a statement in that that's taking down the top team in the East. Definitely turn some heads. Everything going to plan here to start the third. 80% shooting thus far.